We're talking about the 6 essential lessons learned from writing my first book that every aspiring author needs to know. And let me tell you, if you want to write a book, you need to know these lessons. And we're going to get into exactly the breakdown of each lesson and how it can be applicable to you if you want to write a book. We're diving into this episode of the Happy Hustle Podcast.
Do you want blissful balance in your personal and professional life? Great. What's up, guys? My name is Cary Jack, and I want to help you happy hustle a life you love, one full of passion, purpose, and positive impact. I'm a lifestyle entrepreneur, a professional model / actor, a digital marketing specialist, a podcast host, author, a biohacker, an eco-warrior, a martial artist, a hippie cowboy, and a humanitarian. My goal is to educate, inspire, and entertain you to live a life of passion, purpose, and positive impact.
It is time to happy hustle your dream reality. 6 essential lessons from writing my first book that every aspiring author needs to know. If you want to write a book out there, please, please, please don't make the mistakes that I made. Learn from what I did wrong and how you can do it more efficiently and effectively. Stick around to the end and I will share with you the untold secrets of how to put out your first book in an expedited fashion, saving yourself time, money, and resources, and actually getting it read and hitting potentially a bestseller list. What's up, y'all? My name is Cary Jack, and I am a lifestyle entrepreneur, author, and founder of The Happy Hustle and top 0.5% globally ranked podcast host. And I want to share with you the secrets, aka the lessons, aka exactly where I went wrong in writing my book and how you can do it different and better. This is just a complete breakdown of exactly what I wish I would have done and some of the things that I did right that I want to pass on to you. Just for context purposes, at the time of this recording, we just launched our version 2.0 of The Happy Hustle. So technically still my first book. It's just the second iteration of it. And right now we've sold thousands of copies pre-sale, and we are trending to become either a USA Today bestseller, a Wall Street Journal bestseller, Success Magazine bestseller, maybe all three. It's pretty cool. And we're going to break down that strategy of how we actually published the book. And, should you go self-publish? Should you go hybrid publish? Should you go traditional publish? I'm going to talk about all that. And I'm just going to keep it real from my knowledge of what I've learned on this 4+ year journey of putting this book together. It has been a labor of love, and I'm going to just keep it real. It's not for the faint of heart. You need to really want it. If you are serious about putting a book out there, you got to have that persistent consistency. So let's dive into the first lesson, okay? And the first lesson is pretty basic, and it is you have to know why you're writing it and who you're writing it for. Okay, so define your why and your who. This is the first lesson, and it is of grave importance, my friend. Listen here, mi amigo. You got to know why you're writing the damn thing and who the heck you're writing it for. Is it to educate or entertain or inspire or build authority or to sell your coaching program or to drive to another offer? Whatever the reason it is that you're putting it together, you need to know. And then you also need to know who is your ideal reader. Like, what is the tone, the style, the content? Are you going to have graphics and animations? Are you going to have it more textbook style? Like for me in my book, I have, pictures littered throughout, pull quotes, acronyms, catchy, one-liners, embarrassing fun facts. Like I wrote this how I would speak it, and I kept it as a fun book for specifically entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs. Like that is my sweet spot. Now, obviously I go much deeper into who exactly it's for. But it's really for people who want to put the happy in their hustle, maybe are sacrificing their soul right now for a paycheck, and maybe want to obviously increase the alignment in their everyday reality. So this book is written, designed to help people who are feeling potentially on the brink of burnout, stressed, overwhelmed, full of anxiety. And, I write in a way that I would speak to you in very layman's terms, sometimes even slang. Obviously, it's still professional, but you need to know who you're writing for. That way your tone and your style and your content can reflect. So that's really important. Why are you writing the book? Like, I wrote this book as a tool to entertain people and to educate people how to put the happy in their hustle. It's also back end purpose is to help drive traffic to my business, the Happy Hustle Club, our membership program, our masterminds that we do, and obviously the podcast, and to grow awareness for the business at large. But you need to know what the book is for. So first lesson, imperative that you figure this out. Who are you writing it for, and why are you writing it? Okay. All right. Lesson number 2, we're going to burn through these. Develop your idea and create a detailed outline. This is where I really fucked up. Let me tell you, I wasted a lot of time on this one specifically. I was like just winging it at first. I probably started writing like 6 years ago, where I was like, oh, I'm just going to write stories, lessons, things that I think are important to share. And I just really would sit down every morning and I would just type. I would just type stuff and I'd be like, yeah, this is good. I'm putting in work. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing? After 2 years of doing this, it had no structure. It had no outline. I was like, what a waste of time. Yeah, maybe we used some of the stories that I wrote, but largely they just went all for naught. And it was just a massive waste of time. I didn't have an outline. I wasn't clear. So you got to start with a broad brainstorming session, then narrow it down to clear, focused concepts. And then you want to create like an outline where you can really organize what the structure of your book looks like, your thoughts, and then stay on track with that outline. Break down your books into chapters or sections, your book into those chapters or sections, all leading to an end result, and have that through line throughout. When I was doing it, initially just writing, I had no through line. I had no clear concept of where I wanted to take my readers, what journey they were going on, why I was even going on it with them. It was really a waste of time. So I'm telling you this so you can learn from my mistakes and so that you don't make them yourself. Okay, so that's the second lesson. Really get clear on an outline. There's a couple ways to do this. I won't get into the nitty gritty of that right now, but develop your idea and get a detailed outline is lesson number 2. Okay, now lesson number 3, set a writing routine and stick to it. This is, again, a big piece to the puzzle. If you want to get your book done in any kind of timely manner, make sure that you have a clear writing schedule. You want to have a routine that you stick to. Okay, this is really important.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Apologies for interrupting your programming. But I have to tell you, the best investment you can make in yourself is one in which helps you acquire skills. You've probably heard people talk about, oh, just invest in yourself and you'll be successful. Yes, that's true to a degree, but you have to invest in skills that will ultimately help you achieve your desired results. And I think one of the best skills one can possess, be it an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur, is the sales sword. Really knowing how to sell, utilizing pressure-free persuasion, which will make you more money and more impact. Now, if you want to know how to sell more efficiently and effectively, I just launched a sales course called The Proven Roadmap Process to Selling Millions of Dollars and helping you to increase your conversions guaranteed. And you can get access to this new sales course that the Happy Hustle is launching at thehappyhustle.com/sales. And if you act fast, you'll get it at the lowest price it'll ever be available, because we are launching it and we want to gain amazing testimonials and social proof to further share this knowledge. So if you act fast, you can get it at the lowest price it'll ever be. That's at thehappyhustle.com/sales. Now let's get back to this episode.
And you want to make sure that you keep that routine, that you have regularly scheduled blocks in which you are putting in work. Like for me, the best time that I find to write was in the mornings. I think I was writing 6 to 8 a.m. And it was just a focus block that I knew 5 days a week that I was getting after it. I was putting in the work to create the result. And it created a habit. They say sometimes it takes 21 days to make a habit, 30 days, 90 days, whatever you believe. Just create the habit of writing in a certain time and make sure that you are using that time. No distractions, airplane mode your phone, getting a quiet place, instrumental music only or binaural beats. Sure, if you want your coffee or your nootropics or whatever else you're going to do to make sure you get it done, get that habit built, and then just like have the discipline to stick to it. As Jocko Willenick says, discipline equals freedom. If you want the freedom that you desire and you want a book to be a part of your legacy, then you need to have discipline to create it. So this is, again, simple, not easy. Find the most productive time of the day for you and set a writing schedule, and then have realistic goals around your time in which you schedule. So maybe it's a daily word count, maybe it's a page count, maybe it's a time block, as long as you're staying focused. All right. There's also some, writing routines. Stephen King has a good book on writing if you want to check that out. But that is the third lesson. Set a writing routine and stick to it. Okay. Number 4. All right. We're moving and grooving. All right. So here we go. Write the first draft and embrace the imperfection. So I had fear around putting out a first draft, and I didn't want to show people. And I was like, it's not ready. It's like this perfection kills progress, that old saying, right? So the first draft is about getting your ideas down without worrying about perfecting them. So big thing here is avoid editing while writing. Separate the creative process from the editing process to maintain that flow and avoid that writer's block. So you can always go back and edit it, but when you're in the flow, don't get caught up in if you're going to, fix every grammatical error or not. I would do that and it would throw me all the way off my game. I'd be like, oh, I spelled that word wrong. Sometimes what's a cool thing to put together is the voice to text feature on your phone or on your computer. I know they have drag and dictate, some of these software features. I know AI out there nowadays, you can do a lot with, just the translation of your voice to text. That was a way that I wrote very rapidly the stories. So, the stories, you'll speak the stories that you're going to share to highlight the points that you want to deliver. So speak those stories into a software and then have them transcribe in a text. And obviously you don't want to be editing your stories as you're going through voice to text, so you can go back and edit it afterwards. And so get that first draft together, embrace that imperfection. And one of the greatest lessons here when you're putting that first draft together is to use that voice to text feature via whatever software you decide to do it on. So that will save you a lot of time. And, just again, that bad quote unquote first draft is something you'll refine later, and it'll become better and better and better every single time through that refinement process. All right. Lesson 5. Here we go. Revise, get feedback, and then polish your manuscript. Now, okay, once you get your first draft together, you want to step away for a short period and return with fresh eyes for the revision. And the mistake that I made was I was just kept pounding that first draft, and I was so in the first draft that I didn't get perspective and see it with fresh eyes ever. So I had to step away and give some time and energy to other things. Therefore, when I came back to it, I had new eyes, new perspective. Technically not new eyes, same eyes, but new perspective. And then another important part here when you get feedback. So depending if you're going to self-publish, hybrid publish, or traditional published, you might have an editor already with your publishing deal. Or if you're going to self-publish, maybe you need to hire one. So it's a really important piece to this writing puzzle, obviously, having an editor that you trust. And for me, I would write a chapter and then I would send it to my editor. they would be revising that chapter as I wrote the next chapter. And this can be a good cadenced flow if you want to maintain that momentum. I, for this book, went with Story Builders Press. Shout out to them. And my editor, Jen and Akimi, shout out to them. Both of them were killer. They challenged me at times. They also, praised me at times. And it was a nice, harmonious balance, pun intended, as I love the word balance because that's the premise of the whole happy hustle, systematically harmonizing ambition and well-being. Actually, the yin and the yang of life, the personal and professional component, balance, harmonious balance. That's something I always want in my reality. So we had this good balance between, hey, I'm going to tell you this is shit, and hey, this is solid, keep on going. And so they did that for me. And shout out to Bill and Josiah as well. They, from Story Builders Press, really helped me put this book together, give me feedback, polish my manuscript. What's cool, what I think is cool, is inside the book, we have the 10 alignments of being a happy hustler. This is our overall framework, the chapter outline, and then we created acronyms within each alignment. So there was a lot of like IP and structuring necessary for this book. I highly recommend you create your own IP. This is a lesson within the lesson, a key takeaway, a writer downer. Will you write down this right now? Create your IP and brand it. Okay, brand your stuff. Like, make sure that it is unique enough to put a trademark behind it. We have the soul mapping framework, the system, and it is, your soul's map to the blissfully balanced promised land. And this was the whole premise of the book. And it's trademarkable because it's unique and we created it. And they helped me get that feedback and revise it and then polish the manuscript. So with that, a little granular here, but start with the big picture edits, then move to the detailed language and the grammar. So encourage getting feedback from beta readers or professional editors or your team throughout the process. Don't wait till the end, because then it'll be like too late. Maybe you're going with a theme throughout the book, and then you got to go back all the way at the end after you get feedback and change it throughout the entire chapter or throughout the entire book. Anyway, this is a takeaway here. I messed up. What I did was I waited to, get feedback initially on the book. Now, this version 2.0, I got feedback throughout, but I'm kind of blending the lessons from writing version 1.0 and writing 2.0. So the thing that I did better in 2.0 was get feedback throughout the book and, throughout the writing process. Therefore, we could pivot on the fly. All right, that's lesson 5. Revise, get feedback, and polish your manuscript. Now, lesson 6, and that is prepare for publishing and marketing properly. Here is where most authors go awry. This is where I went awry. I didn't prepare for the publishing and the marketing process. As my buddy Rory Vaden talks about, founder of Brand Builders Group, and they've helped like 30 plus authors in the last 18 months become New York Times, Wall Street Journal, USA Today bestsellers, and they're helping me as well. But he talks about, okay, your, editor edits the book, your publisher publishes, your distributor distributes, your, printer prints the book, but no one freaking sells the book. You have to sell the book. And that's really what I learned the hard way in 1.0. We had it just as a lead magnet through a free plus shipping book funnel. This, second iteration, this version 2.0, we went through the hybrid publishing process through Story Builders Press. Now, you could do 3 different options. You have self-publishing, you have hybrid publishing, and then you have, traditional publishing, right? So this is, obviously, the big pieces that you need to consider. Which one you're going to go with. Are you going to go through, and do it yourself, self-publishing, which comes with perks. You get to retain all your IP. You don't have to answer to anybody, but, you'll have to outsource your own editors, printers, marketers, SEO people, etc. Or do you want to go through the hybrid publishing process where you have to give away maybe a little bit of your royalties as books sell? You'll only get a percentage of the sales, but you also typically get help editing and publishing and marketing. Or if you go with the traditional, and then you can negotiate the IP rights typically with the hybrid publishing deal. But with the traditional, they typically retain your IP rights. So, like, let's say you want to make a movie from your book. Well, most of the time, the movie rights go with the publishing company. Let's say, you want to do a course. They typically have those rights to your IP. The traditional is, it has perks, like it comes with a full-on professional team. However, they take more of your royalties. If you get an advance from a traditional publisher, that is seen as like an investment into you, your business, your book, and you'll have to pay that back over time. There's earnouts in order to, recoup that investment that they gave you as an advance. So they're betting on you to sell a bunch of books. So they give you an advance so you can focus and write that book, but then they want it back and they're hoping to make more money on the back end. So they take a very large percentage. It changes depending on which publishing company you go through, but the traditional one is, it's kind of a beast of a business. I'm not gonna lie. Like, getting involved in a traditional publishing deal, I haven't done it yet, so I'll probably do that with my next book. Now that we have momentum from a self-published and a hybrid published book, now I'll be able to get a larger advance, and they'll see my proven track record of how many books I can sell on my own. And that way I'll hopefully get a larger advance in the future. But I know my buddy recently just got like $1 million advance. I know people who get $500,000 advances, 100,000, 50,000. It depends on your audience, your reach, your reputation, and how many books they think you can sell. So really, you got to prepare for the publishing and the marketing though. So discuss what you're going to go with. Are you going to go with that self-publishing? Are you going to go with the hybrid? Are you going to go with the traditional? You need to decide. Okay. And then you need to really think about, okay, what's the importance of my professional cover and proper formatting for both print and digital version? Formatting, that takes time. Getting the print and make sure the bleed lines and making sure the color and everything. Are you going to print it black and white? Are you going to print it in color? Are you going to do soft cover? Are you going to do hard cover? There's a lot that goes into it. Some hardcover, like bestseller lists, have to be printed in a hardcover in order to hit it. If you have a soft cover book, they won't accept it on a list. If you want those vanity metric titles, you have to think about this stuff. So, there's a lot that goes into it, but I just urge you to do your due diligence on this. I know for me, I kind of winged it. I don't like answering to anybody, so I didn't want to really do a traditional deal, and I wanted to retain all my IP rights because I have courses, I have masterminds, I have the Happy Hustle Club. So all that stuff is, obviously a very big IP play for me. And I also plan to write, direct, and star my own feature film series. So I want to retain the rights for potentially a movie down the road. So there's a lot here. You got to think about this stuff. So that's lesson 6. Prepare for the publishing and the marketing. One of the best strategies for actually selling books that I've found is asking all the homies to buy a package deal in exchange for extra bonuses. So for us, we did 50 books. You get to come on the Happy Hustle podcast. You get to, we do an email blast to our list, shouting out your business. We do a 1-hour virtual presentation. I offered mastermind discounts. So if you have other things that you can offer in lieu of bulk sales, that's a really great way to move books. Another way is to do like speaking. They call it book in lieu of fee. So let's say you get paid $10K for one speech. Well, have that client buy $10,000 worth of books instead. Now they do need to count properly for the list, so they need to be processed through a specific vehicle, or else they won't count towards a bestseller list, if that's your goal. But that's a great way to move a lot of books in lieu of fee, creating bundle bulk deals, stuff like that, going on to other people's podcasts and finding like-minded audiences to share it with. So those are just some things when it comes to moving books and actually spreading the message, as well as, getting reviews on Amazon and just, doing the damn thing, getting it out there, hustling. You gotta put in the work. So that's lesson 6. Prepare for the publishing and the marketing and the selling of your book. Okay. And I'm just going to mention just one more caveat there. yeah, you could do like PR releases, you could do social media and stuff like that. But, you know, a lot of times like PR, what I found doesn't really move books like, you know, book in lieu of fee and bulk bundles and selling to your network. So that's it right now. Okay. Those are the 6 most important essential lessons learned from writing my first book. And hopefully you, as an aspiring author out there, got some damn value from it. If you did, do me a solid and leave your boy a comment or a review. If you're watching on the YouTube, then yeah, definitely let me know the most important thing that you learned that you're going to apply in your journey to becoming an author. So as a recap, the 6 lessons to learn, okay, the 6 essential lessons learned from writing my first book for all the aspiring authors out there that they need to know, they go like this. 1, define your why and your who. Why are you writing the book and who are you writing it for? That's lesson 1. Lesson 2, develop your idea and create a detailed outline. Make sure you have that structured freaking outline. Let me tell you, I messed up on this point. Do not mess up on that point. Lesson 3, set a writing routine and stick to it. Make sure that you have a writing block and you stay disciplined and focused throughout. Lesson number 4, write your first draft and then embrace the imperfection. Do not be editing while you're writing. Get into that momentum, that focus flow, and then you can always go back. Don't worry about that perfection. Embrace the imperfection. Get that first draft written. Lesson 5, revise, get feedback, and polish your manuscript. Get your team helping you. Get editors and people who can help you throughout that writing process to really hone in on an amazing message and a through line that is delivered in your book and that potentially can change lives. And then lesson number 6, prepare for publishing, marketing, and selling the damn book. You gotta have a process and a plan. Decide if you're going to self-publish, hybrid publish, or traditionally publish, and know that you are going to be your best salesman for your book. So those are the 6 lessons that I learned from putting out my first book, and I hope they were valuable for you. And again, if you got some value, do me a solid, share this with somebody who could also benefit. But regardless, I freaking so appreciate you. Keep on happy hustling. I'm excited to read your next book or your first book. And let me know again what lessons you learned that were impactful in the comments. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you again. And I'm freaking out. That's it, y'all. Peace and love.